Hello, I am your teacher, Mr. Pacitti, and this is my classroom here in Indianapolis. So put away your mobile phones, put away your super soakers. It's time to concentrate. It's time to study. This is SmackDown Live, and this is Graded. We're only kicking things off with a bloody SmackDown Women's Championship match, Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair, and if Becky gets disqualified, then she will lose her title. So it's not often that we see a wrestling match kick off a weekly wrestling show like SmackDown or Raw, maybe one in every 4 times, but it's certainly not often that we see an over 20-minute wrestling match kick off one of those shows, and that's exactly what we got here. This was absolutely a pay-per-view quality match. It felt like I was watching the show in rewind with the World Cup qualifier going on last and then the SmackDown Women's title on first, but I'm not complaining, not one bit, because this was so good. So lots of repeated submission attempts here, a few teases making it look like Becky might get herself DQ'd. At one point, the belt's in the ring, it looks like Becky's about to hit Charlotte with it, and then the ref turns, catches her. Charlotte immediately goes in for the roll-up. That one got me. I can't say enough good things about this match. It was really fantastic. Eventually, the two women scrap on the outside. Charlotte looks to throw Becky into the crowd barrier, but Becky reverses and throws Charlotte into the crowd barrier, which was weird because Charlotte absolutely had the opportunity to roll in the ring and roll back out, breaking the count, but no, both women get counted out. I'm not sure if the idea here was that both women were so intent on winning, so intent on proving that they were the best, so intent on winning the SmackDown Women's title that they lost track of the count, but as I say, Charlotte did have an opportunity to get back in the ring. To me, this felt more like they were teasing a Charlotte heel turn, a bit like at Super Showdown when Charlotte attacked Becky after the match. After the double countout, Becky gets speared through the LED panels of the SmackDown set, and this is how you renew interest in a feud. Some may be disappointed about a double countout finish, but when you have a match of this quality followed by a post-show attack of this quality, then you can't feel shortchanged. This was well and truly worthy of an A. So in my mind, this was absolutely the best match of the pair's feud, and it happened on a SmackDown. Fans will always complain that they want longer feuds, longer storylines, but they don't want to see 50-50 booking. You can't really have both. Finishes like this need to happen. This was a thoroughly effective way to kick off the show. Next up, we've got a returning Jeff Hardy taking on Samoa Joe in a World Cup qualifying match, and in commentary's own words, this tournament will decide who is the best in the world. It's not that guy, not who you're thinking of. By the way, I'm really liking these World Cup video packages that they've been putting together, introducing each competitor. It's nice for new members of the WWE universe who are perhaps unfamiliar with who they're seeing on screen, and they do make the tournament feel a little bit bigger. I mean, it still doesn't feel big, but you know what I'm getting at. So Joe limps to the ring, still selling his match with AJ in Australia, and then jumps Jeff Hardy before the bell to start the match. Vintage Joe looking for any possible advantage to take out Jeff Hardy. Jeff spends the rest of the match targeting Joe's leg, as he should do. At one point, they're on the outside of the ring, and then Joe looks to kick Jeff Hardy, misses, connects with the ring steps. They get back in the ring, and it turns out that Joe just can't get back to his feet. The referee calls for the bell. Your winner due to referee stoppage, Jeff Hardy. Again, I like everything about this. Jeff could have definitely done with the win, which he got, but even though Jeff won, Joe still looks like a big hard bastard. He wanted to continue. The only reason he couldn't is because his body wouldn't physically let him. This one gets a B+ from me. Really hoping for something good for Joe next. Even if it's not a title win, a feud in which he actually comes out on top would be really nice. Like, he always speaks with such conviction. He's such a great promo guy, but it's getting to the point where he's just not backing those words up, and that's certainly harming him, so please give him something. We now go backstage to SmackDown Live General Manager Paige, who says that following their opening match, both Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair required medical attention. They were showing some sort of injury to Charlotte's wrist at the end of things. She was holding it and it looked quite sore, But anyway, because of the intensity of their rivalry, they will have a match at Evolution, but not just any match. a last woman standing match. So some may be annoyed that Charlotte keeps getting these title shots, and I can totally understand that, especially after last night where she did have the opportunity to break the count. She could have rolled in the ring and rolled back out. She didn't do that. But at the same time, is there anybody else that feels like they're on Becky's level? Like, who else feels like a viable threat to the SmackDown Women's title? It's certainly not Asuka, and I can't think of anyone else on the SmackDown brand that feels like they could give a legitimate challenge to Becky Lynch. And that's a huge problem that desperately needs addressing. It's totally down to bad booking, but they need to start building whoever holds the women's title next. They need to start building the next feud for that person. They need to get behind somebody, and fast. So I'm intrigued by the last woman standing stipulation. I can't help but feel that it's a stipulation that's been put in place so Charlotte doesn't get pinned while keeping the title on Becky, but we'll see. Next up, it's time for Miz TV, and The Miz has been asked to remain professional tonight. His first guest is none other than the WWE champion, the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. AJ comes out, The Miz asks him about his family and what Joe did, and then says that, hey, if this next man broke into your house, he would probably just tend to the garden. His next guest is none other than Daniel Bryan. Bryan comes to the ring, shakes AJ's hand. Miz acts all disgusted, and then Bryan says, hey, do you want to talk about our match at Super Showdown? Because it won't take very long. Oh, Daniel. Miz tries to create tension between the two, but neither man rises to it. Bryan says that this time around he wants to be a worthy opponent. Oh, Daniel. Bryan puts over AJ as an incredible wrestler, saying that he's earned the right to think that he is the best wrestler in the world, and that's totally understandable. And then AJ says that, hey, Daniel, you haven't faced anybody phenomenal yet. And then Daniel Bryan turns it back on The Miz and calls him a 2-minute man. Oh, Daniel! I'm going to stop doing that now. It's really annoying. So Daniel says that deep down he knows that he can beat AJ Styles, that he didn't come back from retirement to reunite Team Hell. No, he didn't come back from retirement to face The Miz. He came back from retirement to win the WWE Championship. Miz eventually snaps and says that Daniel Bryan stole his WWE title opportunity with a fluke small package, that his shoulder was never down in Australia, and that Miz beat Bryan week after week after week. And AJ, you're just another one of him, but with a southern accent. And you know what, Alan? Okay, he didn't say Alan. Despite you holding the WWE title for almost a year, it's never felt less prestigious. It's never been more irrelevant. You want to know why the WWE title isn't main eventing pay-per-views? Look in the mirror. Absolute gold. The Miz was fantastic here, making some really compelling points, great delivery. We know The Miz is great on the mic, but here he is, stood in a ring with Daniel Bryan and the WWE champion AJ Styles, and he's by far getting the best reaction. And that's because, as I say, his delivery's great, the scripting is spot on. He's just a brilliant character. Promo gets a B+, and as it finishes, Miz introduces AJ's challenger for the night, Shelton Benjamin, the man who beat Daniel Bryan last week. Thank you, Miz, for making Shelton Benjamin feel like a big deal. Props to you for that. So Shelton Benjamin gets the early advantage as Miz and Bryan squabble on commentary. The match finishes with a phenomenal forearm. AJ picks up the win. No issue there at all. That's the right result. But Shelton Benjamin looking like a viable challenger. It wouldn't surprise me to see Shelton Benjamin in one of the upcoming Survivor Series 5-on-5 matches. I think they're building him up for that. B for the match, there's not too much to talk about there, and I'm actually excited for a who's the better wrestler WWE title feud, especially following what was a great AJ versus Joe very personal feud. And you know what, at Crown Jewel, I really hope they're given a decent amount of time, given the participants, AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan. This could be a classic if they're given time, until The Miz comes in and ruins the match, obviously, but still, looking forward to that one. Next up, it's time for the director's cut of One Night in Milwaukee. So Aiden English is in the ring and he quickly throws to the Tron. There's a video that plays. It's the video that we saw last week, but a little bit longer, and it shows Lana saying, Aiden, I want you to know how important you are to Rusev and how much you mean to us as a team, and you're awesome, etc, etc, etc. And then she gets down on her knees and she sucks him off. No, she doesn't. She doesn't. It does end with another tease, however, as it looks like Aiden English goes in to touch Lana's arm at the end, but he cuts it off very quickly and then invites Rusev out and says that, hey, You don't want to see what happened there. I don't want to show you that, and I'll destroy the video if you kick Lana to the curb and reunite Rusev Day. Lana then reveals that she actually hacked Aiden English because his password was I heart Rusev, and shows the rest of the video, which shows Lana essentially saying go away. Not interested. You've got the wrong end of the stick, buddy. So Lana shot Aiden English down, and English says, okay, sure, you got me. I got caught out. But hey, Lana, when you get tired of all those Rusev days, why don't you come to me for an English night? And that's enough! Rusev snaps, goes to attack Aiden English. Aiden English just about manages to escape. I'm giving this one a rather generous C+, because sure, it was cringeworthy as hell in places, but I guess that's the point. And it's no secret that I like soap opera wrestling, and I still want to see where this goes. Sorry. Main event time, and it's a World Cup qualifying match featuring the American Randy Orton taking on the American Big Show. Big Show looking great, genuinely good to see him back. I'm a big fan of the vintage Orton DDT from the top rope because Big Show is so bloody big. What else can you say about this? This is the Big Show versus Randy Orton in the year 2018. It was better than expected, I guess. C+. The match finishes after Randy Orton pokes Big Show in the eye and then hits the RKO out of nowhere. Your winner, Randy Orton, who qualifies for the WWE World Cup, trying to bring that trophy home for his home country of America, and make sure that Kurt Angle, John Cena, Jeff Hardy don't bring the trophy home for their home country of America. Final grade for this week's episode of SmackDown Live is an A-. Sure, the Big Show versus Randy Orton wasn't incredible, nor was the Milwaukee stuff, but hey, the Miz Daniel Bryan AJ promo was fantastic, and honestly, what a match from Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair to kick things off. Great night of wrestling. Speaking of Daniel Bryan, why did Daniel Bryan go on an all-cheese diet? Because he loves the taste of brie. See you next week. So that's all from me. Thanks for watching, and you can follow me on Twitter here. If you enjoy what we do here at Cultaholic, you can pledge to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/Cultaholic. And most importantly, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us.